Well, I'm going to give a different twist on a study that just came out that actually, if you put seniors, older people, like, I don't know, over the 60s, 70s, whatever they are, in a setting that they grew up in, that they're familiar with, instead of like these, these aged homes, whatever you call those things. I don't know what you call them, man. But actually, you put them in a setting that they're familiar with, and it jars all these memories. There's a lot more vibrance going on. A lot more interaction, and also a lot of self-worth, and you feels like, hey, man, I got my shit back together again, So actually, I want to tell you this. Classic cars, I know they're always fun to drive. Like you see a lot of older guys and stuff get into classic cars, and you say, why is that? Actually, there is a whole health benefit to this, not only psychologically, but emotionally and physiologically and the whole nine yards, right? Especially if you got a convertible, because if you got the top down, you're going to get that vitamin D3 through the sunshine. Now, actually, this is a very, very important study, and they found that when people are put in the setting back decades ago, when they're young and vibrant, everything starts to click. It's almost like when they start getting older, they feel like the world has changed so much they don't belong in this world anymore. But when they're put back in that setting, and what can put you back in that setting faster than anything than driving an old classic car? I find this highly interesting because it's another aspect of the classic car industry that nobody is looking at. And actually, this should be a write-off for healthcare reasons, and it should be subsidized by Obamacare, classic cars, because it's good for health, for the older generation, right? I mean, it's perfectly logical. I mean, hell, if you're driving a classic car and you feel like a kid again, and you feel like you want to kick some ass, hey, man, you're going to do a lot more freaking stuff, That's the way it goes, right? So, I mean, a lot of people aren't thinking about, outside the box. Sometimes they look at these studies and they say, yeah, we got to make a building look like the 50s. We got to make this look like that. We got to go through all this expense. How about just a classic car? Hey, everybody's like, hey, man, I'm a hot rodder again. I'm back in the day. Hey, I remember this car. And it's a Buick Invicta, whatever the hell that thing is, So, like, people, and the other thing is, these classic cars are so much more vibrant and rich, and I don't know, they just appeal to the senses so much more than the bland refrigerator plastic boxes and whatever the hell they got today with some electronic gizmos in them. And but the only thing that's changed on a car today is taillights. Yeah, look at the taillights. I mean, the classic cars actually exude sensuality, and they kind of spark the senses when you look at them. Well, chromed, two-tone colors, two-tone interiors. You're thinking you're in a spaceship, a lot of style, right? And like I said, it actually will make people reverse age by just driving a classic car. No doubt about it. And actually, this has been backed up scientifically because they put seniors in a 50s environment. They did a test case where they had seniors in a 50s environment, and they had other ones in a regular environment, like the modern day environment. The seniors that were put in a 50s environment, like it was exactly like the 50s environment, the whole nine yards, the living room, the couch, the kitchen, everything, the garden, whatever the hell it is out there, right? The clothes, the whole nine yards, right? The television. They actually reversed age. They felt like, hey, they're back in their groove again, you know what I mean? So, what else can do that except for, hey, what else can do that? A classic car. A classic car. Or maybe even a classic GMC 1956 truck. Whatever, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. And actually, I got to tell you this. This guy here on the channel, DIY Auto School and Southwest Rod and Custom, Southwestern Rod and Custom Pete, he's actually doing a lot more good in the world than you think, because he's not only restoring classic cars, he's actually restoring the health and vibrance and the good memories of so many things that people had in the past that they want to bring back. And it just brings back that spark of life. It does a hell of a lot more, like the classic truck he restored. And sometimes on his channel he has the psychiatrist Dr. Dildo, and he'll talk about this sometimes too. How it can actually make you feel to be driving a classic car again and feel young. Feel young. If you feel young, you are young. That's exactly the thing. And actually, I think every single classic car out of there that anybody works on, ought to be a tax deduction or part of Obamacare and heavily discounted and subsidized by the government. Because if you're going to subsidize something, worthwhile, if you want to blow some money in the government, let's freaking subsidize classic cars. What do you think about that? Huh? For health reasons? What the hell, right? And, it just brings back, this cool-ass Plymouth. Was it 58? Hey, man, nothing like this today. Nothing like this today. It's really cool. I mean, it's a shame they freaking crashed all these in demo derbies all over the place. But hey, what would you rather have? Airbags or a bumper that weighs 3 tons and with a lot of chrome on it? I think I'd rather take the bumper with the 3 tons. I don't care what they say, I mean, hey, maybe the airbag works better if you hit a freaking concrete pillar. But if you got, if you're just hitting a tree, the tree's going to get knocked over like it got hit by a bulldozer, You're probably a lot safer for most common accidents with that big-ass 3-ton bumper, Plus it brings back all the memories, And the old push-button transmission and all that other good stuff. And look at that wild-ass rocket ship interior, Who the hell needs Bluetooth when you got an interior like that? I'd rather have an interior that looked like that and an AM radio than some GPS and Bluetooth. And, they're going to be going to Google cars. Ooh, that's really depressing, right? Hey, man, where's the gas pedal, baby? You know what I mean? We need a gas pedal. We got to step on a go pedal. That's what it is. And hear them ponies freaking rip out. Now, I also want to say something else, because this will bring back some of my memories. And this is like, I wrote the word beer on this truck. My dad used to manage a liquor store, Umbriago's, over there in New Jersey, which was actually the... in a square mile, it was actually noted way back then, back in the 60s, within a square mile, it had more bars, pubs, and taverns within a square mile than any place in the world. And it was in the Guinness World Book of Records for that, actually, at that time. The main freaking delivery vehicle for Umbriago's was always from the 50s all the way up through the late 70s, was always the air-cooled VW bus. Why? Because it was ultra reliable, man. And I can tell you one thing, that thing does bring back some nostalgia for me. But when that thing was loaded down with beer, it was basically like an Arctic cat on wheels, man. It would just plow through the snow up there in Jersey and give that life-giving support to all the bars and taverns, for all the drunks and the hardcore blue-collar workers up there in New Jersey. Man. The Rust Belt, anyway. Actually, it's a good place if you break a lot, if you ignore all the rules. That's what I think about New Jersey. It's a good place only if you ignore all the rules. So anyway, if you want to get your health back, you got to remember this. You got to get a classic car. You got to get out there and get your hands dirty. You got to freaking do the stuff. You got to freaking get out that. The freaking dent pullers, the MIG welder, the spot putty, the Bondo, whatever the hell you got to do. You got to get that board sander out there. You got to freaking weld in some steel. You're going to have to do the work. That's all there is to it, because you're going to have to, because you know what? The reality of it is Obama's not going to freaking give you the money for the stuff. But, one of these days we're going to elect a car enthusiast president, and maybe we just need to have a car enthusiast classic car political party, and just forget about these Republicans and Democrats and even Libertarians, and just have a classic car political party so that we can restore the full faith and responsibility of having fun with classic cars here in the United States, and bring back our lively youth and also good health. So anyway, I just want to put some more hats off to the DIY Auto School for bringing forth a lot of those great videos on also DIY Auto School in the Southwest Rod and Custom, and DIY Pete, Southwestern Rod Custom, SWRNC Pete. That's kind of like saying a lot of words right there, but that's one of those channels. But the thing is, actually, he does realize it though, because a lot of times people say, I remember having a car like that way back in my youth, and they're so happy. But it's almost like it's not even talked about that much, but actually has been verified in actually mainstream psychological anti-aging studies that putting a person into the environment of their youth actually reverse ages them, just brings up a lot more spark in life. So you think it's all about classic cars? It's a hell of a lot more than that. Actually it is. So, it's kind of an interesting twist to a study that, I'm focusing on only one thing, not the entire environment, but it's kind of hard to change your whole environment. You're not going to change the whole city, the streets, the town, the houses, and everybody around you and everything they wear and bring them back in the 50s. But you can actually drive a mean-ass classic car and feel young again and vibrant. And it should be endorsed by the government, subsidized by the government. Hey, if they're gonna endorse and subsidize stuff, why not this, man? Why not this, right? It's a psychological benefit for all of us. Hey, I want one of these. Nice and simple, man. That just no fenders even. That's the way I want it. Cheap too. No, nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. As long as it goes like a rocket ship, who cares? And you could put a case of beer back in the rumble seat, like the old VW van that used to do all the deliveries, man. That thing was badass, man. I gotta add a little more on that. That VW vans that guy always used to have. Always got a VW van, man. Because you know what? Umbriago's Liquors was the mission essential delivery for all the bars and taverns in the most drunkard place in the whole planet. And come hell or high water, in which meant massive snows, those deliveries had to go through. So it was always a VW van, man. That was the vehicle of choice. Ironclad reliability, man. Just had to recall that.